Chandelure going to be invested that Protect Shield before looking for the resisted Incinerate farm down the opponent. Send out Kieran, probably expecting to tank any one move. But if this opponent don't know about that legacy Poltergeist, they're about to find out. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have an incredible battle submission in the Open Master League. The Master League is a league that a lot of players avoid due to the barrier to entry. All the best Pokemon are either mythical or legendary, meaning there is somewhat of a paywall hiding these very top meta threats. Today's featured battler, Devon Cheddar, is running a very unique free-to-play team. All three of these Pokemon have had com days, meaning they're essentially the easiest to obtain Master League Pokemon out there. Skeledirge is one of the most recently featured. I think it might have been last month. Annihilape was around Christmas. Chandelure was quite some time ago. People probably can't even remember its legacy move. However, it actually learned Poltergeist. For those of you that don't know, Poltergeist is a 75 energy, 150 damage move, returning a whopping 2.0 DPE. It's actually a ghost type clone of the more commonly used move, Focus Blast. Chandelure is a very attack weighted Pokemon, meaning that Poltergeist is going to be some Hail Mary if we're able to land it. Devon Cheddar's got a kind of crazy team comp, running a triple ghost double fire strategy. I've got absolutely no idea how these battles go, but there's only one way to find out. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game one, we are not off to the best start, leading Annihilape into Florges. We say switch into Skeledirge, baiting out Rhyperior. Things are not looking fantastic, but the team is working as intended. Despite running a triple ghost team, this is somewhat of an ABB team where Skeledirge will be operating on the say switch, looking to bait out the opponent's best fire type counter, giving Chandelure the best chance of sweeping the back line. Not only have we baited out Rhyperior, so Chandelure doesn't have to see it, the opponent didn't shield the second Shadow Ball and Skeledirge takes back switch. Switch advantage proves to be massive in this battle. We can now align Annihilape into this Zygarde. We're running Ice Punch, which will be double super effective, and we've got a second fire type for that Florges we know will be returning. Have the opponent opts to stay in. We fire off the Ice Punch, that was double super effective. Not that it looked like it, there's the pivot back into Florges, and Chandelure hits the field of play. Every single move in Florges' move pool is going to be completely walled by Chandelure, but the issue with Chandelure is it is an insane glass cannon. These Trailblazers continue to do more and more damage, and they do come with a 100% chance to vamp up the user's attack. Chandelure fires off the flame charge, vamping up his own attack in return, and now we're forced to start shielding resisted moves. The opponent fire off one further Trailblaze, there's the pivot back into Zygarde, we bank our energy and send Annihilape back into the arena. The opponent's already revealed Crunch, they throw one further Crunch, and thankfully we don't get debuffed. Devon Cheddar farms the Ice Punch baits with the Rage Fist. Rage Fist goes unshielded. Can we counter farm them down before they Dragon Tail farm us down? Uh-oh, we're in trouble. The opponent makes a huge mistake, instant throwing this charge move, giving us a full Incinerate sneak. The opponent then get Incinerate farm down. We now leave with the double flame charge, even if the opponent's got a charge move banked. We're doubled up and we'd win CMP. I think the opponent definitely could have won this game. Firstly, there's no point instant throwing that charge move, because if we opted to throw our charge move, we'd win CMP. Secondly, even if you died to that one single Incinerate, you could throw one Dragon Tail, then your charge move before the Incinerate registered. Heading into the next battle, we Annihilape into a Dragon Tail Kieran. Devon Cheddar throws the Rage Fist at very nice timing. 7 counters, then the Rage Fist. Rage Fist goes unshielded, and the opponent opts to instant throw their charge move, giving us a full free counter. That should enable Annihilape to get the full counter farm down, which it does, leaving at half health and boosted. Out comes Solgaleo. I anticipate us throwing this Rage Fist. I'd like to see a pivot. Devon Cheddar doesn't let me down, pivots into Skeledirge, looking to bait out the opponent's best fire type counter. The opponent opts to stay in, firing off the Psychic Fangs, debuffing our defense. The opponent continued to stay in. Trainer, are you double weak? We fire off the Torch Song. Torch Song vamps up our attack and forces the final protection. The opponent throw one further Psychic Fangs, even debuffed, it doesn't do much of anything. Skeledirge fires off one further Torch Song. Torch Song will be removing Solgaleo from the field of play. The opponent's final Pokemon Zacian. Oh boy, is this going to be a sweep from Skeledirge? Skeledirge fires off one further Torch Song, rocking them into the red health range. We send out Annihilape just to force the energy. The opponent already finds himself deep in the red. They throw the wild charge, debuffing their own defense. We send out Chandelure, 2 Incinerates, knocks him out, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we're going to lead Annihilape into Kyogre. Certainly where the team wants to see it. as the back line would not appreciate this oppressive waterfall damage. Once again, a very nice fast move timing. It's using a 2-turn move into a 3-turn move. You want to throw out 1, 4 or 7. Devon Cheddar's done that both times so far, and it's great to see. I really get tilted when I see people throw out bad timing. The opponent say switches into Togekiss. This is probably Kyogre double charms. As long as we keep alignment, we should be off to the races. The opponent invests the Protect Shield. Devon Cheddar happy to match. Knowing Ancient Power probably knock out Chandelure. Chandelure cannot tank a hit to save its life. Devon Cheddar looking for that fall. Incinerate Farm down, leaving at 100 energy. Just YOLO the Poltergeist. Oh man, we actually bait with the Flame Charge. I don't think this goes shielded. What do I know? The opponent invests that Protect Shield. We had another Flame Charge, but unfortunately it looks like we overtapped. Getting off that Flame Charge. Could have actually put this in a range where Annihilape could have counter farmed down. Now we're going to be forced to throw a charge move. The issue here is a Rage Fist isn't even going to knock out. Kyogre's left into the red health range. Annihilape looks for that counter farm down, able to get it, leave him boosted. Whatever's in the back didn't want the smoke, and we take that game. In the next battle, it looks like we're running it back with Annihilape into Kyogre. Once again, the opponent looks to stay in, so I'm going to anticipate us playing it exactly the same as we did last time, at 7 counters and the Rage Fist, and it's time to start vamping up Annihilape's attack. The first Rage Fist goes unshielded. Of course, we're definitely shielding this move, as this blue whale's far too bulky for either our fire types to handle. Out comes Duskmane, and we see the pivot into Chandelure. Chandelure not going to appreciate the Shadow Claw damage, and likewise, the opponent isn't going to fancy our Incinerate damage that we're going to continue to boost up. We shield the Dark Pulse, return fire with the Flame Charge. Flame Charge forces our Protect Shield back, and we're able to reach a second Flame Charge. How much does the opponent want switch advantage? The second Flame Charge goes unshielded. Kyogre comes in, gets the Waterfall farm down. Annihilape re-enters the arena. Annihilape going to fire off the Rage Fist. Rage Fist from this range probably comes quite close to knocking out, if not knocks out. The opponent invests their final Protect Shield. They're going to fire off the Surf, and it's all down to Skeledirge to clean up. Despite the opponent being in the red, this is going to be a very difficult Incinerate farm down. We look to fire off the Torch Song. The opponent makes a very nice catch, catching the Torch Song onto Dialga. I think a boosted Shadow Ball would probably knock out from here, but I believe Kyogre's actually got a move bank. Skeledirge won't be winning that charge attack priority, so I think this one is going to end in defeat. Skeledirge able to Incinerate farm down. Kyogre re-enters the arena with that charge move bank, and we're going to take our first loss. GG's to that opponent. Devon Cheddar looking to bounce back, and in the next battle, we see the very annoying Forger's lead. A dreadful lead for Annihilape, but 2 very nice answers to the back. The opponent saves switch into Kirim, and this is certainly playable for Skeledirge. We see the instant shield deployed, blocking up the incoming Fusion Bolt as Devon Cheddar looks to make a play at taking back switch. Very nice fast move timing, 1 Incinerate and the charge move, only giving the opponent 1 free turn. Skeledirge able to outpace to the next Torch Song, applying massive shield pressure. The opponent completely sacked Kirim, and just like that, switch advantage is ours. Out comes Ho-Oh, aka the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death, the Master League edition. Devon Cheddar farms the Shadow Ball, baits with the Torch Song, losing CMP. However, the opponent's now debuffed their defense. They might consider shielding this. The first Protect Shield stripped off the opponent. Skeledirge just going straight Torch Song, wanting to get off any damage it physically can. We force both shields of the opponent. The opponent gets that Incinerate farm down. We send out Annihilape and look to sacrifice it to the Pokegods. Brave Bird actually doesn't get that 1-hit KO. We see a very heads-up play, saving Annihilape and sending out Chandelure. This now means if Chandelure is unable to remove Ho-Oh from the field of play, we're going to get off 2 counters before that Incinerate registers. We go straight for the Poltergeist. Get that Florges off my screen. Back out comes Ho-Oh. Chandelure and Ho-Oh will pace at the same speed to these charge moves, but Chandelure with the higher attack, able to win the charge attack priority, and that certainly looks like 2 counter range to me. The opponent fire off the Brave Bird once again, debuffing their defense. Annihilape on an invisible HP, able to counter farm down, and we take a very well played game. GG's. Heading into the next battle, we see quite a scuffed lead. Annihilape hitting for neutral with these counters. We are resisting the quick attacks. However, both the Dazzling Gleam and Side Shot will be super effective. The opponent fire off the Dazzling Gleam. We bank our energy, hoping it's more useful against something else, and send out Skeledirge. The opponent makes a savage catch, catching a double resisted Torch Song onto Palkia. Oh my gosh, that did like 3 HP worth of damage. Undeterred, Devon Cheddar gonna fire off the boosted Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball forces the protection, the opponent making all the right calls in this battle. Devon Cheddar happy with his shield advantage, gonna elect to let Skeledirge go down, but this is one very healthy Palkia. Annihilape re-enters the arena, goes straight for the Rage Fist, looking to vamp up his attack. The opponent Looking for that Dragon Breath farm down, unable to achieve it before the second Rage Fist is reached. Rage Fist forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, and it's all down to a 2-shield Chandelure to clean up. Chandelure hits the field of play. Aqua Tail, of course, going to be forcing our Protect Shield. The opponent's even going to reach one more, and very quickly, Chandelure's gone from a 2 to no shield advantage to all shields down. The opponent not wanting to concede a farm down, send out Kiran, probably anticipating tanking any one move. If they don't know about that Legacy Poltergeist, they're about to find out. Oof, massive damage. Chandelure able to incinerate farm down, but Malouetta does have energy bank, and I've got zero doubt in my mind that a side shot will be all she wrote. The opponent actually fire off the BM Dazzling Gleam. We're going to reach the Flame Charge. A Flame Charge, even if it's lethal, we're just going to get Dragon Breath farm down. The opponent actually able to quick attack farm us down, and that one ends in defeat. GG's that opponent. Heading into the next battle, Annihilape into Metagross. A decent lead for us, but we're still going to say switch into Skeledirge, checking what the opponent's best fire ghost type counter is, and out comes Giratina. Giratina, good buddy, this is not the Ultra League. The opponent fire off the Dragon Claw, which doesn't do much or anything. Again, very nice fast move timing. 5 turns into 6 turns, firing off the Shadow Ball. This is only a Dragon Claw. We've already seen how much it does, so this is survivable. The opponent actually fires off the Ancient Power, which still doesn't get the job done. Skeledirge holds strong, fires off the next Shadow Ball, rocking the opponent below half health. This Giratina is still somewhat of an issue for us. The opponent does us a favour, throwing their charge move on alignment, giving us a full free Incinerate sneak. The opponent then send out Garchomp. Oh baby, it's Poltergeist time. Poltergeist! Who shields that? We're able to force the final Protect Shield, much to my disappointment, and Annihilape re-enters the arena. Annihilape with access to Ice Punch, going to be double super effective. Unlike when we saw it land on Zygarde, it does a lot of damage. The opponent fire off the Earth Power, Annihilape survives, Annihilape able to counter farm down, believes on almost no HP, back out comes Metagross. Chandelure re-enters the arena, the opponent goes for the Meteor Mash. This is resisted, but of course Chandelure really needs to start shielding. The opponent send back up Giratina. Giratina unable to Shadow Claw farm down. We fire off the Flame Charge. Flame Charge moves them from the field of play. Can the opponent Bullet Punch farm down Chandelure? They cannot. Chandelure holds strong, reaches the Flame Charge, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle. The Annihilape into Mewtwo. Yikes, we're going to say switch into Chandelure. It looks like the opponent happy to stay in. Likely looking for some chip and dip action. The opponent actually ends up throwing on alignment, perhaps trying to CMP tie us. We get a full free Incinerate sneak. The opponent even full send a Shadow Ball, which is massive overkill. Devon Cheddar, unlike our opponent, throws up very nice timing. The opponent continues to stay in. Chandelure able to reach the next Flame Charge. The opponent's got to let it go at this point. No, again they throw an alignment as well. Chandelure now going to be able to fully Incinerate farm down. The opponent finally pivot out. No, that is not something you're going to send in. Hi Duskmane. Bye Duskmane. Necrozma makes a very brief cameo appearance. Out comes Togekiss. The opponent unable to get that tap, charm down, farm down. Chandelure running absolutely rampant. Holy cow. Literally sweeping the team. We pivot out into Skeledirge. Skeledirge gets off one Incinerate and we take that game. My trainer. If you're watching, please practice fast move timing. Heading into the next battle. We see Annihilape into Yveltal. Despite us running a triple ghost team, this is certainly where the team wants to see it, as Annihilape's a sub-fighting typing means we only take neutral from dark type damage. We see the instant shield deployed, as Devon Cheddar looks to remove this threat to our backline from the field of play. I'm not entirely sure why the opponent's running Snarl. If you're going to run Yveltal, Sucker Punch is objectively better. Snarl does generate more energy, but Sucker Punch, a former counter clone, one of the best quick moves in the game. Sucker Punch offers the perfect combination of oppressive fast move pressure and decent energy generation. Out comes Kiram. Kiram going to be greeted with the boosted Rage Fist, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield, and Chandelure hits the field of play. Chandelure going to be instantly putting up that Protect Shield, blocking up the incoming Fusion Bolt. Flame Charge certainly wouldn't get the job done, but you know what would? That Hail Mary Poltergeist. Hi Kiram! Bye Kiram. What is that third? No, it's a Metal Claw. Necrozma. Metal Claw certainly isn't the move you're looking for. The opponent unable to get the Metal Claw farm down before the Flame Charge is reached, and Chandelure once again sweeps the backline, with Skeledirge having a well-deserved rest on the bench. GG's. In the next battle, we see Gliscopod in the lead. What the heck is this thing running Fury Cutter for? Fury Cutter generates 4 energy per turn, exactly the same as Shadow Claw, but Bug is a dreadful offensive typing, whereas Ghost is one of the best. So if you're going to run this thing, please use it on Shadow Claw. This Gliscopod is offering such little fast move pressure into our Skeledirge. Skeledirge, gonna go down both protections here. We would tank an Aqua Jet and the opponent is quite literally never ever farming us down. Skeledirge fires off the next Torch Song. The opponent goes all in on Gliscopod, and that is a huge mistake as this Aqua Jet simply will not get the job done. I think the opponent needs to pivot as well or they're going to get farmed down. The opponent stays in, look to reach the next Aqua Jet. They don't get there. Skeledirge leaves so heavily boosted. Out comes the tin can. Trainer, if this is your best response, you're in trouble. The first Torch Song rocks the tin can. Below half health. The second will be moving them from the field of play. Hi Dialga, nice to see you, nice. Out comes Florges. No, the opponent doesn't overfarm. We'll be firing off the Trailblazer disarming voice, moving us from the field of play. Skeledirge denied of its sweep, but Chandelure enters the arena. And what is the opponent going to do? Trainer, throw whatever you want. It simply won't cut it. The opponent fire off the Moonblast. Chandelure holds strong, fires off the Flame Charge, and we're going to take that game. It looks like your boy jamiefin got a little excited too early on there, as the Flame Charge wasn't lethal, but the next Incinerate does knock out Florges, and Devon Cheddar did emerge victorious, heading into the next battle. Annihilape into Zygarde, aka Optimus Prime, definitely where the team wants to see it. The Incinerate users will be doing so little fast move pressure to this Pokemon with never-ending HP. You can tell that, but that was a double super effective charge move. It did like 25% of the HP, which is absurd. Annihilape tanks the crunch, and despite us only tanking a neutral charge move and landing a double super effective one, it's us with less HP. We fire off the next Ice Punch. Again, the opponent hangs on. We should just about survive this crunch and should be able to counter farm down. We actually save Annihilape as a potential sack swap, send out Skeledirge and get a very nice 2 Incinerate running start. The opponent sends out Kyurem into our loaded Crocodile, and that is certainly fine for us. We fire off the first Torch Song, which goes unshielded. We're going to see the instant shield deployed, blocking up the incoming Fusion Bolt. I'm anticipating one and the charge move, and we do exactly that. Once again, throwing it disciplined timing. Despite us being a pretty modest elo, Devon Cheddar is showing good game mechanics, unlike most of the opponents we're playing. Skeledirge fires off the Torch Song, the opponent saves Kira and make the pivot into Florges, and Chandelure enters the arena. We can tank any one move, and I think we just go straight to the Poltergeist and look to knock this thing out. We actually settle for the Flame Charge. We've already seen that Flame Charge doesn't do too much to Florges, and we're going to be unable to Incinerate farm down before the next Moonblast is reached. We're actually going to burn the final Protect Shield here. The Incinerate should be knocking out Florges. However, Kyurem enters the arena, winning the charge attack priority, and we are in big trouble. Can Skeledirge reach the Torch Song? No, it cannot. Annihilape is so low, it's going to get Shadow Claw farmed down, and Big Bad Kyurem will be emerging victorious. GG's that opponent. In the next battle, we see an awful lead. Annihilape into Mewtwo. We save switch into Skeledirge, and the opponent counter swaps Dialga. Not too bad whatsoever. We fire off the first Torch Song, forcing the first Protect Shield of the game. The opponent does need to Aurora Time to knock us out. If this is an Iron Head, it simply won't cut it. We tank the Iron Head. I think here we should always Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball would do more. We fire off the Torch Song. Torch Song forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. As the opponent chose the double shield, I guess Torch Song was the correct play, as we did get off one further double boosted Incinerate. We send out Annihilape, tank the Aurora Time, quick switch into Chandelure, and Chandelure gets a very nice 2 Incinerate running start. Chandelure with a 2 to no shield advantage. Out comes Kyurem. I think again here I definitely full send a Poltergeist, as despite Chandelure resisting these Ice Fangs are tearing through our HP. The opponent pivots back out into Mewtwo, and Chandelure will be looking for the double up. We shield up the side strike. We're only 1 Incinerate off that double up. Chandelure does reach that double up. If this Flame Charge is lethal, it's game over. Flame Charge knocks out Mewtwo. Back out comes Kyurem, and this double boosted Flame Charge is going to be all she wrote. GG's. I was thinking that Chandelure might be somewhat of a meme pick, but situationally this thing is putting in so much work in today's Shoutcast. In the next battle, we see Rhyperior in the lead. The opponent save switches into Dragonite, and we don't really have a great response for this. Annihilape can have to do some heavy lifting here. We tank the Dragon Claw, go straight for the Ice Punch, hoping to sneak it through the Protect Shield. Ice Punch goes unshielded. Quick switch into Skeledirge. Skeledirge will get a very nice farm down on that. Rhyperior matchup won't be anywhere near as bad as it would if we're in even energy. Skeledirge committing to that full Incinerate farm down, leaving at 80 energy. Back out comes Rhyperior. Again, we commit to good fast move timing. 1 Incinerate and the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball puts a solid dent into Rhyperior. Unfortunately, unable to reach the second. However, we send back at Annihilape. Annihilape hitting for super effective with the counter damage. We're going to see the shield deployed, blocking up the superpower. That is certainly not the correct move, but the opponent's got a waterfall Gary in the back, and regardless, we can't win that game and we concede the match. In the next battle, we see Annihilape into Kiran. We're going to stay in, shield up the incoming fusion bolt, and then look to start applying massive fast move pressure with our vamped up counters. We fire off the Rage Fist. Rage Fist goes unshielded. Can we counter farm down before the next fusion bolt? Unfortunately, we cannot. We're actually going to see us double shield our lead here. Chandelure with no shields to hide behind is certainly a scary prospect. Out comes Mewtwo. Hopefully not a Legacy Shadow Ball one, or we are cooked. We fire off the Rage Fist, forcing the opponent's first protection. We then attempt to catch a side strike unsuccessfully. Does Shadow Ball even one shot? Let's find out. Shadow Ball isn't quite lethal. Oh, the opponent isn't able to Psycho Cut farm down either. We fire off the Torch Song. Torch Song forces the opponent's final protection, but this Mewtwo's just got too much energy. The opponent gets a very nice Psycho Cut farm down. We send out Annihilape. Annihilape going to be straight in and straight out, to be fair. It's pretty low, so it's not really a one-hit KO. We send out Chandelure. Chandelure is going to get outpaced. Poor old Chandelure. You've done so much heavy lifting, but today is not your day. Shadow Ball picks up the one-hit KO, and we take a heartbreaking loss. Heading into the next battle, we see Shadow Ho-Oh in the lead position. We instantly pivot into Skeledirge, and our Skeledirge is answered by a Legacy, a Smackdown Tyranitar. We are fully walled here. Oh god, that Torch Song doesn't do much of anything. I think here you should definitely Shadow Ball, as if the opponent no shield again, Shadow Ball would do objectively more. Torch Song goes unshielded, the opponent going to get a huge Smackdown farm down. This does in return set up Annihilape to get a little counter farm down, but we're not going to get too much farm, as Tyranitar double weak to fighting, as both Rock and Dark take super effective. The opponent fire off the Brutal Swing, then one more Brutal Swing, putting Annihilape below half health. We're pivoting out into Chandelure, and Chandelure is tasked with doing the heavy lifting. Chandelure, of course, at this point, going to be shielding up everything. The opponent go for the Sacred Fire bait, which isn't really a bait, as even that would do a lot. In return, we're baiting with the Flame Charge. Flame Charge gets called, and I think it's game over. We're able to reach the next Flame Charge on the CMP target. The opponent still with 2 shields to hide behind. Going to be investing one here. We are going to play it out, but I really don't see a win con. What can we beat in the back? The opponent fire off one further Sacred Fire. Chandelure looks to reach another charge move, gets Incinerate farm down. Annihilape re-enters the arena. Whatever they throw, going to be picking up that one-hit KO and take another very tough defeat. GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle, we lead Annihilape into Kiran. Last time we tried to Rage Fist, counter farm down and went down both Protect Shield. It looks like Devon Cheddar making an adjustment, save switching into Skeledirge, baiting out Palkia. Nice to bait Palkia out, so Chandelure won't have to face it. We land the Shadow Ball, instantly putting them below half health. Once again, some very, very questionable fast move timing on display. The opponent gives us a full free Incinerate, fire off the Aqua Tail. Unfortunately, unable to get off the Torch Song as the next Dragon Breath does knock us out, but it's not like Torch Song would have done too much damage. We've seen it does like 3 HP. We send out Annihilape. Annihilape looking for that full counter farm down, which we're able to get and leave absolutely loaded. Devon Cheddar banks the energy on Annihilape, sends out Chandelure, and Chandelure looks to start vamping up his attack. We fire off the Flame Charge, losing CMP. The first protection is going to be deployed, blocking up the incoming Fusion Flare. The opponent opting to stay in at quite a poor matchup, revealing they might be weak in the back. The opponent invests to protect shield, blocking up the Flame Charge. Chandelure still with that shield to hide behind, going to be investing it here. If his opponent doesn't pivot, I think we can fully farm down. Chandelure looks at that farm down, able to get it. Out comes Dialga. Where does the opponent burn the final Protect Shield? The next Flame Charge goes unshielded. Can we reach one more? Oh man, this is going to be tough. Annihilape re-enters the arena. If the opponent's smart, they never shield this first Rage Fist. However, the opponent shield the first Rage Fist. The second will do more damage as Rage Fist does come with a 100% chance to ramp up the user's attack. Rage Fist isn't lethal. Annihilape counter farms down, and we end the video picking up a big fat dub. GG's, and thanks for playing. And that is just about going to wrap things up for today's shoutcast in the Open Master League. I've never seen a team quite like this. We're running 3 Pokemon that are all free to obtain. All 3 have had community days. We run a very interesting triple ghost double fire team, which actually picked up some very big wins despite other opponents running top meta teams. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing if you like your battles featured on my channel. Link to our battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thanks to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.